This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook live show. We're here for the Monday 3-game DraftKings main slate. Grande, if you caught my my morning preview show, 3 games, not a ton to talk about. A couple of key notes for injuries here. You know, it was a quick in and out operation last night with the preview show for everybody.
I opened it and then it was done.
Yeah,
I opened it and I was like, "Oh, John's done already."
Mm-hmm.
That was quick work,
8 minutes,
light work,
in and out. You know,
listen. For anyone that has watched the show, John, they understand that I have a talking problem. So I'm sure like when they see just you, they know what they're in for.
Yeah.
And when they see like you and Keith on the show, they know what they're in for. And then they know that it's when I'm hosting the show, they got to get dinner ready. They have to, because it's going to be
long.
It's gonna be long. And I'm sorry, I just am who I am, and you are who you are. So we love you for that.
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting because I covered the slate in 8 minutes. So now you and I are together. We're gonna see how long it takes us to get through these 3 games.
5x.
We do at least have a live chat. We appreciate you guys tuning in. You can hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Appreciate all of you who tune in each and every day with us, even on these shorter slates. Big news of the day, obviously, was Kevin Durant ruled out heading into this one. James Harden just ruled out a few moments ago for the Clippers. We're waiting on the Minnesota news, I think, right?
Yes.
Still waiting on Randall and Edwards. You guys would know that if I had an injury graphic, but I don't. So we have those 2 guys listed as questionable for today. We're also waiting on Jaren Jackson.
Jaren got upgraded. He's probable.
All right, so really the 2 guys remaining are Edwards and Randall. We got the Harden news. We already knew about Kevin Durant. We will go game by game for this being a 3-game slate. For those of you who have been asking and wanting a game-by-game breakdown, we do actually go game by game when we have these smaller slates. We go position by position on the much larger slates, so it's easier to visualize each. But when it is a smaller slate, we will go game by game. Quick shout out to the chat. Jeff in here saying good evening. Steve popping in, appreciating the work. We do it for you guys as you show up. Stack says, what up? Dave asks where we are. We're here. We're just a couple minutes late. Greg said he went 0 for 4. I don't know. We had a little bit of a tough Sunday for sure. I think we went 2 and 3 on the Sunday picks. So we had a winning Saturday with the picks at least. We'll get back there. Only 4 picks in there today because it's only 3 games, and I'm not going to force bad plays on everybody. Cujo always popping in saying good evening. Preffy saying smash the like button. No B-Day narratives today. That's fine.
And he's apologizing. But you know what? He also gets game by game, so he wins.
It's true.
Today. So
it's
even
true.
though he doesn't have any
game
narrative.
last night for the previous show.
Yep.
Let's win big today, says Brendan. Ola Amigo says Rolly. Stack says good evening. We have Rick saying, what up, guys? We got the play of the night. We'll get you play of the night. Don't you worry about that. Harden just ruled out. We got that from Davis already. A for the people, game by game. And then finally. All right, we're here. We'll start it off. Again, Houston, Indiana. Start off with Houston. Kevin Durant's ruled out. It's pretty simple where you want to go in this situation here, Grande. But since I already told the people very quickly last night, why don't you expand upon where we should be looking to go as someone who did the playbook tonight?
I think it was a little surprising to look at Houston today, John. And like I put my playbook cover together prior to the show or prior to like doing the research, right? Just to like,
sure.
Not to say I don't like Amen Thompson, who's the cover of today's playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers were just okay.
Yeah.
Weren't great without Kevin Durant.
There's only 2 games for the full season, but obviously there's on off the court.
Yeah, but there's a lot of minutes. It's not like they're just, attached to the hip. I mean, there is a large sample. And he's like a 20% usage guy. That's fine. He's like a just under 1 fantasy point per minute player. That's fine, especially because he plays 40 minutes. Alperen Şengün was the priority for me. He's $9,200 on DraftKings. He has an elite matchup against a Pacers team who allows a boatload of points in the paint. So I think Şengün looks as good as any other spend up on the slate today. He's going to play high 30s minutes, mid to high 30s minutes. Everything's going to flow through him. Leads the team in usage and leads the team in fantasy points per minute. No Durant, no Steven Adams.
Yeah.
I'm good with Amen Thompson because he has the 40-minute superpower, right? Like,
yeah.
Again, like I don't love the numbers without Kevin Durant. There's no usage bump. There's no fantasy point. There's no fantasy point increase. So but he plays 40 minutes. So if he plays 40 minutes tonight at a fantasy point per minute, like we're essentially getting 5x. And if there's any bit of upside, then yes, Amen Thompson, another guy who does a lot of his work at the rim. That's where you attack Indiana. They're basically not playing center.
Yeah.
I think Jabari looks incredibly mediocre at 6,400 because that's kind of who he is.
There's some double upside. That's basically what I said in the video. Like there's a chance he doubles.
Yeah, there is a chance he doubles. He has a ceiling, but he's a 0.8 fantasy point per minute player without Kevin Durant and Steven Adams this year. And I think a lot of that has to do with Kevin Durant makes things easier for everybody. They are a team that's already kind of stuck in the mud and have a historic offense because they're offensive rebounding. It doesn't get any easier offensively without Kevin Durant. That's a top 8 scorer of all time, or top whatever. He just top 5. Did he just passed? Is it 5th, 6th in points?
I don't know.
6th.
He's 6 now. Past Dirk.
Yeah, 6th. He just passed Dirk. Someone did a breakdown. The guy from the Dunkers. He did a breakdown how he would have to pass Wilt to get to 2nd, but he obviously knows he's not catching LeBron. Yeah. So I think Jabari is more of a cash game play than anything else. You know, if you get to him in tournaments, it's more like, okay, he's the lowest owned of the starters, so that would be your reasoning. Yeah. Tari Eason is the best per dollar play of this team. He is also owned as the best per dollar play of the slate, or per this team. He does have great rates without Kevin Durant and Steven Adams. The eligibility is very weird, shooting guard only. But whatever. Do I buy that he's a shooting guard only? No. Yeah. But no Durant, no Steven Adams, 24.5% usage, 1.14 fantasy points per minute. 31 minutes he played last game was the most since returning from injury. I would say like it's probably safe to project him in that range. Like maybe you see 31, 32 minutes. Yeah. But he is an absolute smash. The one caveat to the Eason play is that Indiana is the best defensive team when it comes to allowing 3-pointers.
Yeah.
And Tari Eason, not that he does all of it, because he is a sicko, like offensive rebounding, steals, easy dunks and whatnot. But he is a 48% 3-point shooter and has largely been plus there. So obviously a factor. I'm not really factoring that in because he is so good everywhere else.
I still took the over 1.5 on him, knowing that it is a tougher spot today. But he's just been so nails. There could just be more perimeter shooting opportunities for him without Kevin Durant tonight, that it could just be a volume game. If he ends up taking 8 and he doesn't shoot 45%, but he shoots 35%, we're still hitting 2. So, we took the over Tari 1.5 there. Let's get the read here, because that's the one that obviously everybody is just kind of jumping into. From an ownership perspective, only 25% on FanDuel, rather. On DraftKings, now they click over to the right button here.
Basically the same number.
Was he?
Basically the same number.
All right, around 25% then over on DraftKings as well. How are you feeling about Reed Sheppard tonight?
I mean, there's just a wide range of outcome with Reed Sheppard, because the minutes are not guaranteed. When Durant was out those 2 games earlier in the year, he did play a lot, but he was also in the midst of playing a lot every night. And with him right now, it's been fluctuating whether he plays a lot or not. Like, I could see a world where Reed Sheppard approaches 30 minutes tonight, and I could see a world where they get enough offense from Şengün and company where they prefer Josh Okogie's defense, right? Or they prefer Jayshawn Tate, or they prefer Dorian Finney-Smith 16, 17 minutes a night or a game. So I think there's a wide range of outcome. I definitely think Reed Shepherd's in play in tournaments, but he wouldn't be a priority for me. But there is, like, he is a fantasy point per minute guy without KD. Is a 25% usage player without KD. So, like, the numbers back it up. We just don't know where the minutes are going to lie, and that's kind of why, like, I think he's fine. I just 25%, 4,900. I think there's some other value that has opened up throughout the day, and specifically with the Clippers that we can get to. So I'm okay with Reed.
Okay. Pacer side of things here. Obviously tough defensive matchup for them, having to go up against Houston here. Siakam's your top guy price wise. Nembhard there at $7,100. If you're looking at ownership on this team, TJM is around 20%. What are we looking for when it comes to the Pacers tonight?
Oh, we didn't. I think Clint Capella is also kind of in play. We had a comment, and we Josh Okogie is probably going to start. Just a couple things to note. Blake asked if we think Capella is going to start. I don't. Indiana doesn't even start a center themselves, so I would be surprised if it wasn't Okogie. And then Kogie's going to be unowned if you want to play him. He'll probably get 30 minutes. He's been pretty good from a fantasy perspective the last 2 games. And then B-Wag's comment, the only reason they defend the three so well, that doesn't change this team's narrative. They have their offense is run through a center. So that's going to continue here. So just throwing that out there. Sorry, just wanted to touch on that.
No, it's fine. We're already over the 8 minutes that I did. So
yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Go back to the Pacers here. Then are you prioritizing anybody on this team? Are you playing the value? Jay Huff is getting a little bit of ownership. TJM, as I said, is getting a little bit of ownership here on this slate. Do you like a Mathurin whose minutes got over 30 the other day? Like, where do you look to go here? Yeah,
the Pacers have 5 guys getting double figure ownership. And it's the 5 minus Jarris. It's Siakam, Nembhard, Mathurin, Nesmith, Siakam, Nembhard, Mathurin, Huff, and McConnell. I think the Pacers are contrarian. Like, it's not a good spot, as we know. Like, Houston plays slow. They're a top 5 defense in the NBA. Even you try to make it a smaller sample to fit your narrative, like, oh, maybe India. Nope. Last 10 games, Houston's 5th in defense. Like, they just are just good on that end of the floor. But I think there's a case for low-owned plays always. Pascal Siakam is team leader in usage this year. He averages just about 1.2 fantasy points per minute. Definitely can see in a competitive game him play like 36, 37 minutes. So I think Siakam's good in tournaments. I think Andrew Nembhard is probably the best tournament play on this team. Like, he basically has tournament winning upside every time he makes shots. It's basically the case. Like, when he is, because everything else is like really solid.
He's giving you like Halliburton level assists right now. So, to an extent.
Yes. No. I mean, to an extent. I mean, 5 straight games of 9 or more, 6 of his last 7. Got him. And so when you see the shots falling, look at the ceiling. 50-50. We've gotten 50 a whole bunch in these high scoring outputs. So and one of them came against OKC, who's number 1 rated defense in the NBA. So, that's not apples to apples, but a guy who can make shots and is good peripherally just has appeal. So I think Nembhard's good in tournaments. You can always play Ben Mathurin in tournaments. I think, the most critical thing here is the 32 minutes. I kind of expect him to start because he got up to 32 minutes. They barely gave Furphy any time. The Furphy stuff is coming to an end rather quickly. I think it's probably this game where you get Mathurin in the starting lineup. I'm definitely good with a guy with a 24% usage and super high scoring ceiling in tournaments. Indiana's just a tournament team. I feel the same way about Jay Huff. Like, talk about wide range of outcome. You'll know right away, depending on who the first center sub is.
Yeah.
Or how long Jay Huff plays his first shift, if you made a mistake or not playing.
Yeah, Şengün just boxes him for 4 minutes, and next thing you know, he's just done.
Yeah, because it's Carlisle. Carlisle like has loyalty to basically Siakam, Nembhard, Neesmith, and then everyone else is. He's like, if you're not playing well, you're cooked. Like, sorry. So, I mean, Jay Huff. Remember that stretch? Jay Huff was balling, and then he just got benched.
Yeah, never played again. Yeah.
So, I think
I played him that game that they basically benched him, and I was like, this is great. He was so good for a while, then just 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think he is in play, but another can only play in tournament play, and same thing with TJ McConnell. I mean, could get 16 minutes, could get 20 minutes. Production is solid, always 4,100. We know how good he is per minute. And there's like really nothing else. Like, you can take a shot on Neesmith or Jarris Walker if you want, but not priorities for me.
Sure. And it's smaller slate, so someone like McConnell, you get to 18 fantasy points at 4,100, you might be okay there.
Yeah.
Going to Minnesota again. We're waiting on the big news here. Edwards and Randall. If they both don't play, it changes everything. If one of them misses, obviously, again, kind of adjust where we'd look to go. Spot against Memphis here. They're road favorites. How would you look to prioritize them?
I mean, there's a lot to like in either scenario. This is definitely the best game on the board. Ant and Julius Randle both look amazing. I might just end up playing, like, if I'm playing one of them, I might just end up playing the lower owned, which will obviously be Randle. Ant's going to 2x his ownership.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ant looks great if he plays. Randle looks great if he plays. We know both of them have 50, 60 fantasy point upside. Is Julius Randle a Milwaukee Buck by the end of the night? Possibly. You never know. But I like both of them. I like Naz Reid in tournaments. I think Gobert has a really high ceiling because he's so good in like specific categories.
Yeah.
He also looks really good without Anthony Edwards. So if there's no Rudy Gobert, or if there's no Anthony Edwards, this could be a ceiling Rudy spot. Memphis is going to run out the Jaren Landale front court, presumably. Mm-hmm. That's not overly scary. So I like Rudy. Love Naz Reid always in tournaments. Probably don't even consider DiVincenzo unless Ant's out. I think he's just a little too expensive for me. Mm-hmm. McDaniels is safe. And you could always like take a shot on a Bones Highland or a Mike Conley and just hope that they play enough minutes. But you don't need to, because the T-Wolves really run like a 6-man rotation and sprinkle in the other guys. So if Ant and Julius Randle are out, then this is a complete difference.
Yeah, it changes literally everything, is what I was saying on the morning show. Like, even if Edwards is out, right, then you'd play Highland. They'd start Conley. You'd still probably just play Highland, or you could play Conley if you wanted to there.
Well, you could play them both, and you could play them both. You could play, because they're both going to like split time. They're going to share. They shared the court last time, and you would just simply play like everybody. Like you would play Randall,
Randall's Naz Reid.
Dude, you will see lineups on a 3-game slate with 5 T-Wolves if Ant sits. He's a 30% usage player. If him and Randall are out, all bets are off. Then you could literally, you will see 4 to 5, and I think that's like a very sound strategy as well.
Great. Anybody else in Minnesota?
I mean, if Randall sits, Bernier is in play, but not. That's the only scenario.
All right. Looking like Jaren Jackson Jr. will play tonight. Does that impact GG Jackson for you, or would you still play him?
Does it impact GG, specifically him? Yeah, I mean, of course. There's a lot of different. There's a lot of different rotations that they do, and a lot of different starting lineups that they run out there. So there's nothing off the table. My assumption is that GG would come off the bench, but if he were to start, then no, it would be in play. if he comes off the bench, then yes, naturally, he only played 18 minutes in the one game. He has been very productive when he's been out there. But I just think it'd be harder to find like the 24 to 25 minutes because they are playing Landale upper 20s. They're going to play Jaren in the 30s. They're going to play Coward upper 20s. They're going to play Vince Williams lower 20s. They're going to play Jalen Wells mid 20s. Ty Jerome is a new wrinkle that they haven't had to deal with before. So,
Gigi's just getting significantly less ownership than sort of the rest of that group that you mentioned already. Around 13% right now. Vince Williams is 26. Ty Jerome's the highest on this team at 35. Jalen Wells 34. So, looking for some value, obviously these two guys stand out. Or all three of these rather stand out 4,200 and below. And then it's everybody above him except for Cam Spencer, which nobody's playing, from an ownership perspective.
Yeah, Spencer's RIP. Not like his minutes were fine, but you really have to take into account, and I'm not saying he wouldn't have played in a blowout, but he did get the final like 5 minutes of the game, Yeah. So like that is definitely a little bit worrisome. I don't think that necessarily is guaranteed, especially with Ty Jerome back. I mean,
Jerome came back, played 20 minutes, and had like a 37% usage.
Yes, he did. Yes, and that is like what it is. Like it's just kind of lock and load at that point. I understand that this was a game without Jaren Jackson Jr., and that is something to consider. But if you remember Ty Jerome in Cleveland, this was what he did. This was his specialty in Cleveland as like a 5K player playing 20 minutes a night, there's a reason why he went out to the open market and just got a fat contract, right? Because he was an absolute flamethrower last year.
44% from three last year, 51% from the field. He's almost a 50-40-90 guy off the bench for Cleveland.
What was his points per game and minutes per game?
12.5 points per game and 19.9 minutes per game.
Dude, I mean, like, and
it was 12.5, 2.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.1 steals, and 1.6 3-pointers per game in 20 minutes.
He is a very good fantasy player. So like in a tournament, I understand like looking to be different, right? You're banking on a guy who we know is going to be limited, possibly gets extended to 22, 23, 24 minutes, right? Possible. But he's coming off a calf strain that literally kept him out for half a season. So you're not going to extend that guy too much. But so like from that perspective, I understand why you would be like, I'm playing multiple lineups. I'll be under the field, or I'll be even with the field. I definitely love this spot for Ty Jerome. Just with who's out, right? Aldama, Edey, Morant being out, like and they're going to start him. I mean, they showed their hand, like this is someone they paid. They're going to start him. So I love Jerome. He's my favorite Grizzly. Yeah. And he's being rostered like that. I think Jaren is good in tournaments, especially with him being upgraded. We shouldn't really be worried about the quads. He has great numbers without Ja Morant this year. I mean, and it's not just Ja, it's Edey and Aldama, right? Like those are three crucial pieces to this team that he's playing without.
You just, I guess now you just wonder when he overlaps with Ty Jerome, like who's
sure.
Jerome's not going to have a 37% usage rate, but he's going to have a high usage rate. So it's
Agreed. And the good thing is they're not going to overlap a lot because they're not going to play. But, I'm not overly concerned with it because Ty Jerome is not Ja Morant at the end of the day. And without Ja, without Edey, without Aldama, 28% usage, 1.26 fantasy points per minute for Jaren. And no one's playing. I mean, I shouldn't say no one, but he's lower owned on a smaller slate, right? Like the mid 20s is a pretty low owned play on smaller slates. So I like Jaren. I think Landale you could play in tournaments, not a priority for me at the price. Again, I'm not paying $5,900 for Cam Spencer coming off the bench. when I don't think 25 minutes is in the range of outcome
Yeah.
in a competitive game. Coward is interesting, 5,400. Another guy, 1.1 fantasy points per minute without the trio of players that are in. We have seen the increase in minutes from Cedric Coward lately, right? I mean, he's played 27 or more minutes in 4 of his last 5. Have to like that quite a bit. He just hasn't really made shots, but is a good rebounder. And when the shot and the rebounds are combined, like he does have a really high ceiling of 54.
Yeah.
We touched on GG. And then I think Vince is okay. The ownership was like confusing me earlier today. I think people assumed he was going to start. And that's not going to happen in my opinion, unless they move Landale to the bench. I guess it's possible. But he's fine. And Jalen Wells is fine too. I think both those players are both fine. Jalen Wells down to 4,100 is a little bit interesting. The price has dropped pretty drastically, pretty fast. That's probably it. I know Javon Small's played a lot lately. I don't know if we want to go.
I mean,
there,
on 3 games you can always throw darts, but I mean,
Yeah.
you'd really be multi-lineuping at that point. Not
Yes.
building single entries.
Yes.
All right, Philadelphia here. Again, Paul George suspended for violating the drug policy. So you're back to now Embiid, Maxey, Edgecombe, Oubre. It's kind of your core there. And the way Embiid has played lately is just out of his mind. I know we've talked a lot on the show about Zubac being like a strong defensive player of the year candidate, but does he actually stand a chance of slowing down Joel Embiid tonight?
I mean, if he stands a chance, I don't know what the percentage of chance is with how well he's like I mean, he went 32, 15, and 10 against Houston, who's super elite. I don't have any objection if you want to get to Embiid. He looks as good as ever. He looks happy. Dude, he's just dominating. I don't know. There's not a lot to.
32% of the field is playing Joel Embiid tonight, so he is popular.
Yeah, 38% usage without Paul George this year, almost 1.5 fantasy points per minute. He's gone for 50, essentially 9 fantasy points or more in 6 of his last 7. Got him. And he's just what he is. Ivica Zubac is elite defensively. I think second team all defense last year, had some defensive player of the year votes. Brook Lopez, great backup center defensively. Sure. Former defensive player of the year. So I mean, it's a tougher spot, but you're talking about any player that has a 38% usage and 1.5 fantasy points per minute and is now 39 minutes in regulation. He played against Houston 41 minutes in regulation.
Played 46, right? And you said 41 in regulation, 46 in the game, so
46 in the game, right. With over, and every Philly game seems close.
Yeah.
Every Philly game is like one possession game deep in the fourth quarter. You're like, oh, okay, here we go again. We get Joel minutes extended. So I'm absolutely on board with Joel Embiid tonight.
Cool. Maxey's $9,400, then drops down. Obviously, Edgecombe and Oubre. Thoughts on sort of the next tier of Sixers tonight?
I think Maxey is absolutely in play. Always, just massive ceiling, elite scorer is what he is. 9,400 is a cheap price, and also really good numbers without Paul George this year. I'm indifferent about Edgecombe. And I like Oubre and Edgecombe here, and the minutes should look good. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if you have 2 players, like Joel without Paul George has a 38% usage rate. Maxey without Paul George, I want to pull it up. I have it in the playbook. 31% usage without Paul George. I mean, you just have 2 players absolutely dominating the basketball. And I'm not saying he can't do other things to get there. Or Kelly Oubre can't do other things to get there. Also, Kelly Oubre played 37 minutes the other day and took 3 shots.
Yeah.
So, with that, they had 40 points. Each of them had 40. Would that be surprising at all if that happened in games throughout the rest of the year? If Embiid and Maxey both stay healthy? No. So, And last game you get 40 from Oubre. Like it's you can't. I think Oubre is in play more than Edgecombe is, but he's $1,000 cheaper.
But ownership is actually 3-1 on Edgecombe right now over Oubre. It's like 15% to 5%.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a better allocation of funds, saving $1,000 going to Oubre for 1/3 the ownership. Dude, VJ does not. I mean, neither of them have great numbers with Joel and Maxey on the floor. But if you look, they're essentially the same player, and one's $1,000 cheaper. So I am absolutely more on Oubre than Edgecombe for $1,000 cheaper. I think that there's probably a little bit of a salute to Dominic Barlow, just a little. Like a small sliver of a salute. And that's all I'd say. Like he started last game. He played 28 minutes. If he's going to start again, I know he's running out of games too for his two-way. So we're on two-way watch there. Just like we're on NBA trade deadline watch this week, but we're also on two-way watch with a lot of players. If Barlow starts, like slight hat tip to him. He's been pretty good. And Jared McCain's been getting more minutes. I don't think you can trust him, but the minutes have been trending in the right direction for Jared McCain.
Another guy that when he gets on the floor, he can score. And if it's a blowout, seemingly he's getting some minutes there as well. So can help in a tournament there. All right, Clippers side. Obviously now there's no James Harden. We saw Dunn and Sanders start last night in that lineup. Where would you look to go for the Clippers this evening?
Yeah. Sanders entered for Harden, played 31 minutes. Now, he went into the fourth quarter, Kobe Sanders, and didn't play any minutes until blowout. He played 3. So he got 28 in the first 3 quarters and then didn't play until blowout. So that is something to mention.
Kind of a rotation thing that he got.
I don't know. Kawhi, Brolo, Batum, Miller, Christie started the fourth. They subbed Zubats. They subbed Dunn. They didn't play Kawhi for the final 4 minutes of the game. So I'm not saying I dislike Kobe Sanders. He's getting a bunch of ownership. I like the price.
I think he's the highest roster player on the slate.
I have nothing. No objection. I'm just pointing out he's also not a high usage player.
No, super low floor.
Yeah. This is not like a gotta plug in value, but a good value. He's 3,800. He's going to start and he's going to probably get you 30 minutes. We'll start back at the top. Kawhi looks amazing. Anthony just said, does this make Kawhi a must play? I mean, I would say the only downside to Kawhi Leonard is that since returning from the knee injury, they've been reluctant to go past 31 minutes, right? Dude, during this massive comeback of the season. I mean, they've had 2 seasons, which is insane, but one is they're the worst team in the NBA, and the other one's they look like the Thunder. I like Kawhi quite a bit. What are the minutes? I mean, it's possible he gets to 32, 33 minutes, but it is a second leg of a back-to-back. Didn't have to play the final 4 minutes of the game. Is that worth anything here? I don't know. But love Kawhi, all the numbers, 37% usage without James Harden this year, 1.57 fantasy points per minute. So super elite, nothing bad to say. Ivica Zubats is interesting without Harden because he had a big game last night. But when you look at the numbers without Harden, they really aren't all that great. He's under a fantasy point per minute. His usage is 16.7%. And I do think that has to do with James Harden, the playmaker, more than it does anything else. They are an incredible pairing in pick and roll, and that's why the Clippers were so good last year. Reed Shepherd will start for Kevin Durant tonight, which is a big boost.
That ownership is about to skyrocket from the 25% that it was.
Yeah, per Coach Udoka, he's going to start. So that is a big piece of news that we are going to definitely adjust our thoughts on Reed. Reflected in the playbook that you guys can find at fantasyalarm.com tonight. I'm good with Zubats. But, another situation where I think the numbers look not as good as I thought they would look, but, I'm good with it at $7,000. I think the price is okay. I like John Collins, another one. I think John Collins looks pretty good. 0.9 fantasy points per minute, 21% usage without Harden, 30-minute upside. Probably doesn't get past 30 or like 31. He could probably sniff like 31, 32 minutes. He hasn't really gotten past it a lot, but I think Collins at 53 looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good value for what his upside, fantasy output can be on a slate like this.
Jordan Miller is interesting because he does have like pretty good numbers without James Harden. He's the only other player outside of Kawhi Leonard that is over 1 fantasy point per minute without James Harden this year. 23% usage, 1.05. I don't, the minutes, I'm another one who he played the final 15 minutes of the game. So if you like extrapolate garbage time, he would have been at 20 minutes. He didn't really play a whole lot in the first half. I'm not saying that's not possible tonight. He played like 7 first half minutes, but if it's a competitive game, what does Jordan Miller's minutes look like over the course of the game? That's a little worrisome for me. Dunn, just kind of indifferent about, just not like a great fantasy player. Sanders looks pretty good. Bogey was a DMP yesterday. I think the one that I would take a look at is Brook Lopez. So I saw some stuff about, and they were doing this more, but they're playing Zubats and Brook Lopez together, which seems like a terrible idea because they are not the two most laterally gifted people in the world.
Sure.
But like, if Philly is doing a lot of that, right? Barlow and Embiid and Bona or Bona and Watford, like the Clippers can do stuff like that and play both bigs. He's $3,500 and it's not like a necessity, but like Brook Lopez is a guy who can make 4 threes in 20 minutes tonight because they're playing him alongside Zubats a little bit. So I don't hate him in tournaments. I'm not like prioritizing Brook Lopez, but no James Harden this year, 0.9 fantasy points per minute, 20.4% usage rate. It's interesting. Like that's interesting to me.
Sure. Anything else here?
No. Just we got a bunch of questions that we should get to.
Run them up.
First question. No, I guess not question. Preffy said Conley's last game. Preffy always looking for the narrative angle. Anthony said, are Kawhi and Embiid good to go? Both are. Kawhi's not listed on the injury report, and Embiid is listed probable. Josh said Jared Allen. Yep, Jared Allen had 40 actual last night for Jared Allen in 30 minutes.
Sometimes.
Good player sometimes. Dagger said, let's get paid for sure. Lil Skippy is looking for
one more win and I get a good payout.
Don't know what that means, but so I'm assuming that
140. What are we looking at here, Lil Skippy? What do we need?
I'm assuming that has to do with the Charlotte game that concluded a few minutes ago.
Any thoughts on Behringer and Nas sit? No, Nas, you mean Randall? Nas is going to sit. Randall.
Yeah, I mentioned Bernier earlier. I think you would play him. He would be in play if Randall was to sit.
Oubre with Kawhi. This is Crashing Goon.
I'm assuming that means Oubre guarding Kawhi. Excuse me.
Maybe.
I don't care about that.
Kawhi must play.
I mean, he's not a must play. Like, if you were to rank the spend ups, like I think Şengün is still the top spend up, and then I'd probably say Embiid second, and then Kawhi third.
Top center play for tonight. I mean, it's still going to be Embiid, but you could.
I would go Şengün.
You're going Şengün. Are you going Şengün over Embiid?
I would go Şengün over Embiid.
Yeah.
It's close, and I might not have to make that decision. I could just play Şengün at power forward and not worry about it.
True, could play them both.
I would go
I like Nas in the mid range if you're looking for a mid range center.
Agreed.
Shepard starting tonight. How many Rockets are in a lineup? Can play 5.
Yeah, let's
play
see.
Reed, play Tari Eason, Reed, Shepard, Şengün. There's 3.
Play Reed, Shepard. Yep, that's one guy.
I said that. So play Reed, Shepard, Tari Eason.
No, I know. You said you started with play Reed, then you went to Tari, and then you went to Reed Shepard.
Yeah, same thing.
You went first name and last. You're giving out government names.
I got nothing there.
I would say you can play 5. Can play 5, but I honestly I would probably max 4, but you could probably get away with 5.
Chances Grimes plays 20 to 25 minutes.
I mean, that is such a tricky
hasn't
question.
Really been playing much, so.
I mean, I would say the likelihood is greater with Paul George out, but he only played 16 with PG the other day. Could that have been because the ankle, right? He was out and
it's crazy they don't play him more because he's really good.
George's Niang told us though, John. He said, when Joel's here, you're gonna go stand in the corner. If Tyrese was here, you'd go stand in the corner, and that he has done.
Yep. It's Harden out, Maxey more appealing.
I don't think that has any correlation because
Harden's not D'ing him up. So
yeah, no.
Harden now though defending Maxey maybe less.
Yeah, but he was gonna always defend Maxey.
Yeah, that's true. Sanders or Jalen Wells?
I'd probably go Sanders there.
Okay.
Point guard and center. Deuce is asking. Point guard and center.
Yeah, we're gonna get a core play for you guys, so you can check out what we're gonna put together here. Ant-Man is still questionable. Yes. Priority Rockets. I mean, at least Reed Shepard and Tari Eason for me. So.
Şengün. I'm prioritizing.
I know your
Şengün.
team Şengün. I get it.
I don't know why you would. Why would you not be?
I didn't say you wouldn't be. I'm just saying priority. I think you get your value there. All right, let's get a core build here going. It's very clear.
Ant-Man is still questionable. Anthony. Yes.
Okay. Shepard, Şengün, Eason, probably start the 3. Okay, Ty Jerome.
Yeah, all of the. I agree on all of the above.
And you get $6,500 to play your Minnesota players, basically.
You could double center with Embiid here. You could Kobe
definitely double center with Embiid, $5,300.
And then Kobe Sanders would be the obvious value to get you back up there if you were to build something like this.
Save yourself power forward for you. Friends, get in the Discord. Check out the playbook. We'll be back live tonight. Not live. We'll be back tonight though to preview the Tuesday 8-game slate. Good luck. We'll see you.